Hello, this is Guillem Godoy, and I'll continue a series of videos where I try to explain how to program with Android Studio. In a previous video, I showed how to draw squares on the screen and also asked you to try to find out how to draw other figures such as circles and triangles. In the current video, we will try to draw directly already created images, and more particularly, we will try to draw a PNG. Actually, I'm gonna use this particular image, which I have created using the GIMP program. And well, it's intended to represent a star. Well, that was my aim when I drew it. Okay. Well, perhaps being drawn with this size, it doesn't look as such, but the idea is to draw it on the screen with a smaller size. And even in the end, we want to draw plenty of them in order to create an image that somehow resembles the sky at night. Okay. Well, so let's go to the programming area. Same as in a former video, in order to draw, we will need an image view. Okay. And also a bitmap, a Canva. Okay, sorry, we need to import some things. We will need a canvas object here, a paint object. Okay, and we will need to place these things somewhere. For example, in a frame layout. Okay, the idea of frame layout, in contrast to a linear layout, is that the objects, okay, now linear layout, objects are placed like in sequence from top to bottom or from left to right. In a frame layout, each new object is placed above, independently, or is positioned independently from previous ones, but they overlap so that the last object is hiding previous ones, so it's placed on top of previous objects. Okay. Well, since well, in principle, we will have a canvas, just or the image layout or the image view. Sorry. But maybe later on top of it we will place a button. Okay, but okay, let's put that off and let's start with okay, we will need also the sizes of the screen, and we will keep them in these variables. So let's start by getting these sizes. Well, a possible way to get them is the following. We access to the window manager, get the default displays, and get the real metrics. This needs a display metrics object. Okay, so we give it here. Now, sorry, what's going on? Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know what that is required, but we include it. Okay, now we can get the width matrix dot width in pixels, the height. Okay. Well, now I'll create the frame layout. And before I forget, I'll set it as the content, as our current content view. And I also set as layout params. Sorry. Yeah, that was correct. I need a new object here. And we'll make it fit the current sizes or will fit entirely its parent. Okay, that's why we need here match parent for both width and height. Okay. Well, now I'm gonna create the image view. And as layout params, I'll give it the sizes I obtain of the full screen. Okay. And before I forget, I'll add it to the frame layout. I'll add this view, image view. And now I'm gonna create the bitmap. Or in this case, yeah. Yeah, we need to give a size. In this case, we will adjust it to the size of the screen, and it needs also a configuration object. Sorry. Which, in particular, it defines how the pixels are represented internally. In this case, we want them to, okay, we already saw this. The A is for alpha, RGB is for red, green, blue, and this is telling, asking to use 8 bits for each of them, okay? Well, so now for the image view, we set as image bitmap the one we just created. Now we create the canvas, setting this bitmap as parameter. So the canvas will draw on this bitmap. And we create the paint object. Okay, and just to make sure that this is working, I'm gonna ask the canvas to draw black color to paint all the bitmap in black. Okay, so if I've not forgotten anything, so far we should be able to see the full screen in black. So let's check it out. Well, I'm saying all in black. Of course, this is never a guarantee that anything is working, because I mean, screen in black is like usually a symptom that something is going wrong. But well, that was our initial goal, right? So let's assume that so far this is okay. Well, now I'll try to draw the star, and I'll try it to draw it so that it fits all the screen. Well, first of all, I'll add here in the resources folder and draw subfolder. Okay, I will paste the star file that I just copied it from the folder where I have it where I have this file. Okay, so I'm gonna paste it here. And now I need to create a bitmap, an extra bitmap, in order to keep the star information. Okay, so we need a new bitmap. And okay, sorry, bitmap star. We need to create this bitmap, but in this case, we don't create it from scratch, but we need to get it from to obtain to create it from the star file. Well, there are several ways to do that, but one of them is yeah, from bitmap factory we can set the place where this bitmap must be decoded. Okay, and I need to specify the specific identifier, which in this case is just the name of the file name, but without the extension. Okay, and now we can just tell the canvas that it should draw a bitmap. Yeah, this function has okay, it's overloaded and it can be used in several ways, but all of them need as first parameter the bitmap we want to draw. And well, now we can specify, for example, the rectangle of the initial bitmap, the part of the bitmap star that we want to draw. So we create a rectangle telling that we want to draw all of it. So from position 0, 0 to the width of the bitmap and the height of the bitmap. Okay, so from bitmap star we get the width and the height of it. And finally, it's compulsory to specify a paint. Sorry, no, not yet. Yeah, we just created the rectangle specifying which part of the bitmap we want to draw. In this case, it's all of it. But now we need to specify a rectangle, but in this case, in the destination, which part of the destination we want as rectangle in order to draw the bitmap there. Okay. Well, to start by, we'll draw this star so that it fits all the screens. So we draw from 0, 0 to width and height. Okay, which is the okay, these are the sizes of the destination bitmap. Okay, and yes, and as I was mentioning before, we need to add a paint parameter, for which in this case we have not specified anything in particular. We have just created it. Okay. Well, let's see if this star is indeed drawn. Okay. Yeah, it takes a while, so let's be patient. That's it. It's been drawn. Yeah, but there's an issue. Maybe you can notice that the bottom side of the star is hidden, and the navigation, the bottom navigation bar. Well, that's because okay, one thing is the size of the screen, and another is the visible part. So either we set our height and width to the visible part, or we can enforce this app to work in full screen so that both navigation bars at the bottom and at the top are hidden. Okay. Well, there are several ways to enforce that. Okay, I'm going to copy a possible way that I found on the internet. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna copy here a code. Okay, it seems that we need to import something in order to make this work. That's what it was complaining about. Yeah, okay, I cannot tell you. This is what I just copied. It seems that this is a function that hides both bars. I cannot tell you much about that, but it seems that it is setting some flags in order to hide navigation bar and enforce full screen. I think that this is necessary because when when something changes and the view is redrawn, maybe these flags are lost. So what we're saying here is that when we regain the focus, then this function must be called again. Okay. Well, let's see if this is working. Well, it seems that we have we are painting now on the full screen, so this is what we wanted. Well, Now I'll try to draw this star smaller, and maybe we'll even go a little bit farther, because I'll try to draw plenty of stars. And with that aim, I'm gonna create a private object, private class star. Okay, so that we will manage several star objects. Okay, well, for a star object, we'll have its size and its location, or its position on the screen. Okay, and for example, I'm gonna define a function here in order to set the position. Okay, set, or maybe set characteristics. Okay, let's call it set position, or set, I don't know, set, but I'm gonna do it randomly. Okay, so set random values. For example, for the size, I'm gonna choose well, okay, let's begin with a fixed value. For example, the width divided by 10. So yeah, let's begin by setting a fixed size for all our stars. Okay, but for the position, I'm gonna choose, for example, a position. Okay, choose a random value between 0 and 1, and I multiply it by the width. But in order to make sure, okay, observe that, okay, the random value is between 0 and 1. If I multiply by width, I obtain a value between 0 and width. But I need to subtract here the size of the star, because if, for example, we get exactly width as position, then this star will be drawn out of the screen, right? Okay, it seems that since math_random returns a float value, a real value, we need to transform it into integer. Okay, we proceed similarly with the height. Okay, this sets the values of the star. We will need a draw function for the star. Okay, and we proceed as before. In fact, we can copy this. Where do we have it? We were drawing here, right? Yeah, I'm gonna comment this function, this instruction, and I'm gonna draw the star here. In this case, the positions will be X and Y, and the top left corner will be X and Y, the bottom right or right bottom will be X plus size, and Y plus, Y plus size, okay? Because we are drawing now the star at its current size, okay? And I don't know if we need something else. Okay, I'm gonna create a new function called create stars, or okay, we need a vector of stars here. For example, we can have a constant value defining how many stars we will have, let's say 10, for example. Okay, and we initialize this vector to 10. Okay, maybe I could, yeah, I could put this. No, I create this. I create the objects here, but maybe it would be good to have. I mean, later I'll be interested in creating a button in order to reset the positions of the star in order to check that they are indeed being positioned randomly to different places every time. So that's why I prefer on the one side in the main area, the onCreate function to create the V star array, but for sending the random values, since we want to do this several times, I create this function apart. Well, we just need to call the corresponding set random values of each of the stars we have. Maybe I can simplify this. Okay, and I'll need a draw function that will simply call the corresponding draw functions of each of the star objects. Okay, so at this point, oh, by the way, here I just setting the random values, but I'm not creating. I created here the vector, the array of stars, but I need to create each of those. Oh, sorry, this should be num stars. And this will be a new star object. Okay, after creating all of them, you need to set the random values and draw all of them. Okay, so if I've not made a mistake, then they should draw 10 stars on the screen. Okay, let's see if that's the case. Well, I'm seeing a total of 10 stars, so that looks good. I'm gonna add, as I mentioned before, this reset button. Okay, let's declare it here, for example. Okay, yeah, let's add it as a view to the frame layout. Okay, yeah, sorry, maybe we can put as text reset, and whenever okay, we set as on click listener the following. Whenever we press this button, we want to relocate the stars and draw them again, which, by the way, it will be necessary. Okay, pay attention. I could simply call to the set random values function and to the draw function. But in this way, we are not erasing the previous drawn stars, right? Let's see that this is what is happening. I mean, we're gonna draw these new stars above previous ones. Well, it's happening something else. Yeah, the reset button by default has a size or the layout params that it has by default works so that it fits the whole parent. So let's fix that. In this case, we want it to wrap its content, exactly its contents, okay? So and that's it. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's complaining. Sorry. I think it's okay now. Let's see if that's the case. Okay, we have the reset button now with a reasonable size. Let's see if it works. I'm gonna click it. Okay, and as I mentioned before, we are not erasing or deleting previous. So what I'm gonna do in order to fix that is to move this instruction to the draw function, so that will draw it in black every time. And maybe now we can take advantage and do something else. For example, yeah, for the size, in order to make it a little bit more random, we can add here, or for example, instead of dividing it by 10, we can divide it by a number between 10 and something else. Yeah, sorry. This multiplied by, for example, I don't know, 30. Yeah, it complains again because this is not integer. Well, that's an option. Okay, let's see if this works. They look quite small. Okay, I'm gonna reset this. They are so small. Okay, let me put here 10, for example. Okay, I'm gonna add more stars. For example, number of stars could be 30 because it seems that there's plenty of empty space in this screen. Okay. Well, so that's it. That's what we wanted. And well, I think I'm gonna leave it here. But before I go, I wanna propose you some changes that could be interesting. Well, or at least one. Look, something that doesn't look nice here is that some stars overlap. I mean, are placed very close to each other. This is happening here with some of them. So maybe an interesting or a change that could be interesting for you is that um, whenever we set the position of a star, this one could check whether its position is different from previous ones. Okay, well, for that, for example, here in this code, we set the random values of all the stars, but it would be nice if each star make sure that its position is far away from the positions of the previous stars defined. Okay, for that, we could pass as parameter this I mean, this I could be passed here so that this star knows its index. And for example, here we could have a loop, for example, a while, an infinite loop setting these values, but we could check whether this star is far away enough from other stars with lower indexes. Okay, we could have here an extra loop inside the infinite while so that we traverse previous stars and check whether we are far from them. If that's the case, we can finally return from this function. Okay, that would be the idea. And what does it mean to be far enough from each of them? Well, we need to check whether our x and y are far from, whether our current coordinate is far enough from the other coordinate. For that, we will need to subtract the corresponding x's and y's and do the square and the square root. The classical Pythagoras theorem in order to get the distance between both stars and check whether this distance is larger than this corresponding sum of sizes. Right? That could be an option. That could be a way to ensure or to check whether they are too close or not. Okay. Well, so that's my proposal. Just in case you want to practice a little bit. Once you have made this change, you can check whether by clicking the reset button, whether they keep appearing to close or whether that is no longer happening. Okay, so well, that's up to you. I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you enjoyed this video and you you can make the most of it. So have a nice time coding, and see you in a future video. Goodbye.